Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. Excited to be connecting in with you mid-June. Already, we're halfway through the month, and I love to focus in on the summer months here in the States, the summer months. I like to focus in on Summer Star. How are we showing up in our life? I think it's great to pause halfway through the year and check in and see, are we truly, powerfully showing up? Or are we perhaps treating things a little bit like a dress rehearsal? Like eventually I'll show up. When I do this one more thing or get that one more certificate, then I'll fully show up. I think sometimes we treat life a little bit in autopilot, or we can treat it a little bit like a dress rehearsal that eventually next time I'll really show up. And what I want to encourage you today especially is to remind you that today is the show. Today matters. Today the world needs you. They need to see all of you. That's the biggest gift you can give the world. And how you choose to show up matters and impacts those around you. So I want to invite you, as you lean into the conversation today, to really listen to our amazing guests. They have really leaned into building powerful, successful, and joyful lives, integrating all of who they are, not just one aspect or part of themselves. And I think there's a lot we can learn from that, because sometimes we can segment things. We can, oh yeah, I'll do that later or someday. And I want to invite you to listen to their wisdom, to their insight, and truly embrace what can serve and support you today, not someday. We have today. Tomorrow we plan on, we hope for, we expect, but what we really truly have is today and this moment, which makes right now so important and special, and such an honor to have each of you choosing to connect in. And I know that by your very choice of connecting in, there is something here powerfully, purposely for you. So let's take a moment to mindfully choose to connect in so you can receive everything that is here for you today. So let's take a deep breath in through your nose, all the way to your toes. A little bit more breath, and then out through your mouth, like through a straw. And what I picture as you keep breathing is that you're bringing in all this beautiful support and energy and oxygen to fill and support every cell of your body. And when you breathe out, you're releasing that which no longer serves, thinking it, but now it is complete, and it creates room and space for that which does serve you, that which will support you in being and becoming all that you're meant to be and to become. That's how we can, I believe, really live a successful life, aligning with who we truly are, aligning with our purpose. Those things that make our heart sing are gifts that we get to bring to the world. So as you're breathing, I invite you to close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. Put both hands on your heart. Just be still for a moment. Breathe and listen. What is it, as you're pausing, becoming still, becoming present? What is it that you need today that will support you, empower you, encourage you? What do you need today, real time, on your journey? Let's be curious and open. What do you need? And with that, I'm going to add in that you are willing to receive, because you have choice. So what is it that you need and are willing to receive? See if that shifts things a little bit. Please note, I didn't ask you how. I asked you what. So you don't need to figure it all out. You just need to identify, wow, I really need this today. Or I'm noticing, you're noticing something. Something's bubbling up. Sometimes we're so busy, there's so much noise around us, we can't hear those things that are whispering to our soul and our spirit and our heart. So let's see what you discover. Wonderful. Receive that information. Take another breath. Open up your eyes, become fully present, and take a moment to write down what was laid on your heart that you need and are willing to receive. Let's start to co-create it. Let's bring it into reality. Let's make it something that you get to start to interact with right now during the show, because you are here for a reason. You're connected for a reason. And I want you to capture and drink in richly and deeply everything that is here. With that, I'm going to go around our virtual room and have each of our guests share when they took a moment to stop, pause, and listen. Just a 10 to 15 second share what was laid on their heart. Peter, I'd love to start with you. What was laid on your heart?
I think I'd pick up on your very first point, Rebecca, about living your life day by day. We are all actually writing and acting in a play called This Is Your Life. And every moment you're writing the script, and there are actors up on stage waiting for your lines, and you are the lead actor and the author of the play. And therefore, it behoves you and each of us to make a great performance that others will applaud us when we do finally leave this planet.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. I love that day by day we're the lead actor and writer of the script.
Absolutely.
That's a beautiful, beautiful share. Thank you. Very powerful picture. Erin, how about you? What was laid on your heart?
It's so funny that you started the show that way, because this was exactly what I did this morning during my journaling session, where I have a list of reflection questions, and today, just at random, I picked, where do I need to be more intentional? And I think that's a big one for me right now, that where do I need to be more intentional so that I'm filling my day, filling my life with the things I want to be doing and the things that could have the biggest impact. And this idea that I came up this morning with, there's literally just two things in my world that if I change, could change everything if I did them with more intention.
How powerful is that? I love the alignment. That makes my heart happy. I love that. And what a great question. How and where do we need to be more intentional, and to be able to identify, wow, if I was more intentional about these two things, it could shift so many things. And that feels very doable. Not a list of 55 things, but two things. It's very, very doable. Beautiful share. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And listeners, I'm curious about, what did you discover? What pulled at your heart? What bubbled up as you took a moment to pause and listen? Perhaps listening to Erin and to Peter and some of what was laid on their heart has added to what you discovered or what you heard or felt. As we go into our first commercial break, I encourage you to use these 2 minutes for you. This is an opportunity to integrate, to process, to be present and intentional with what is bubbling up for you, what is coming to the surface. And we will continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Follow Voice America at facebook.com/Voice America for juicy updates from your favorite radio shows and podcasts.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Voice America programs are now available on your favorite connected device, including Amazon, Alexa, and Google Home. Through streams with Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, listening to your favorite show is as easy as saying the show name followed by the word podcast.
Hey, Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast.
If that doesn't work, try adding on TuneIn or on iHeartRadio or on Apple Podcasts.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes. They had some powerful thoughts or insights come forward to support and serve you to living that purposeful, powerful, impactful, and successful life. I'm excited to introduce our first guest today. You got to hear from her a little bit in the opening segment, and I wanted to share just a little bit about her so you have some context from which she's sharing and speaking from. So Erin Marcus is the founder and CEO of Conquer Your Business. It's an international company that is supporting driven entrepreneurs and small business owners to really have a successful business and journey that they love. She made this successful leap from corporate executive to entrepreneur, and she uses that experience along with her MBA in education to help her clients reach new heights. She is passionate about helping you build a business and life you can be proud of, enjoy, and love. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful and dynamic Erin Marcus to the show. Welcome.
Thank you. So excited to be chatting with you.
You are very welcome to the stage. Thrilled to have you joining us. And I wanted to start our conversation with why. Why is this work of helping other entrepreneurs and businesses conquer their business and help them do this? Why is this work personally so important to you?
So when I was going through corporate, one of the things, and it was in financial services, my world, and one of the things I very, very quickly learned was the difference between people who have and people who don't have was access to information. And it just struck me that there was so much possible for people if they just knew how to do it. And I believe that true change in the world, change in our lives, however small or big you want to make that change, it comes from the bottom up, not the top down. And so I love being part of the process to get people the information they need to actually change their lives and whoever's lives they want to have an effect on.
I love that. And that realization that the information can make such a difference, and that support on how to integrate it, and that so much is possible, because I think sometimes people don't know that, and they don't know what they don't know. And so I love that you're on this mission to really help and empower them in this way. So as you reflect back and on the journey, your own journey, and so many clients and businesses that you've had the opportunity to help, is there something, a moment you're most proud of that kind of bubbles up that you'd like to share with us?
I don't know if it's a moment. I think it's more of a personality trait. I am just I'm proud of myself, but then when I see it in other people, the ability to be and stay resilient is so impressive to me. When you watch, I know how hard this is, right? If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, right? So to watch people do what they need to do and go through what they need to go through and not give up and stick with it and fail and fail and fail and fail and fail, and then embrace the failure and the resilience in people, it's the thing that I can be proud of in my own world, but then it's also the thing that I just, when you create this light bulb moment for somebody and you get to be part of that after they've gone through the frustration, it's amazing.
I love it. And I love this resilience that you're talking about. And I think on a global level, we really have gone through a period of time that we've explored that on new levels as a global community. I mean, truly. And so much has come from that. And I'm curious if you have a perspective or tip or suggestion that can help us recognize our resilience and maybe even embrace that part of ourselves more.
I think it all comes down to recognizing that you have the ability to choose every single time. It's interesting what we see go on out in the world at large, where we show this unbelievable resilience, but at the same time, a lot of people are abdicating their responsibility and they're abdicating their power by abdicating that responsibility. They're waiting for somebody else to make a change, to save them, to do a thing. And the more we embrace our ability to choose, our ability to create, the more resilient we can become, because having that power to choose and having that power to create doesn't mean it's all easy, but it does mean it's all possible.
I really think this is profound, what you were just sharing about how this abdicating of responsibility is giving up some of our power to choose and making us dependent on what others are doing, and is so important for us to recognize and really own so that we can claim our power in all of those choices. Any suggestions you have? I know that you have the practice of journaling. You shared that in the opening segment. Are there any practices that you can share with us that may help us tap into some of this for ourselves?
Sure. And this one I love because I do this for my business, but I do this for my finances. I do this for my health. I do this for my interpersonal relationships. So the first thing I get real clear on is, what do I want? Like, I will write this out. What do I want? And then you have to take a really hard look at that answer, because too many times what we want isn't within our control. So if I want my XYZ person to stop being a big jerk, we can't control that, right? We can't control what the other person does. So that one doesn't work. So what do I really want? Okay, well, I want to just have a calmer family life. Okay. So the first thing is getting clear on what you want. And then the follow-up questions are where it's so important. What do I need to do? Who do I need to be? How do I need to show up in order to create what I want? Right? It's all on us. So get real clear on what you want. And then I say the most difficult conversation you could ever have is an honest conversation with yourself. Get clear on what you want, and then what do I need to do? Like, what action do I need to take? But who do I need to be? What do I need to let go of? What do I need to forgive? How do I need to show up in order to get the thing that we said we wanted?
Beautiful. And then do those steps would be the next. Yeah, do the thing.
If only it was so easy that it stopped when I was done with my coffee and journaling, but no.
I just identified. We're good. Yeah.
It's all good. Figured it out. It's on paper. It's all good.
No, that's really, really powerful. And I love how this is something that serves us in all areas, from personal life, relationships, health, personal goals, business goals. This process works and integrates into all. And I think that's really, really powerful. And I wanted to shift to business a little bit and just narrow in on that, because I know that's just one of your amazing areas of expertise, as well as I can tell alignment and integration and clarity are also some of your gifts and talents that you have. But how can we, if we are an entrepreneur or we are in the business world, there's so much noise out there right now. How can we get our business to kind of break through to that next level and stand out? What are some of the things we can do to make that happen?
Sure. So I'm big on two things. Number one is strategy over tactic. And this is a very noise-induced problem. We respond to the noise, we respond to the shiny object, we respond to the silver bullet, and we buy into a tactic. And our business might not be ready for it. It's not that the tactic is bad or wrong, but have you done enough strategy and enough work to be ready for it? So number one, strategy over tactics all the time. And the way that you figure that out, my biggest tip is reverse engineer everything. It's a business version of the journaling exercise I just mentioned. What do we want? What are we trying to create? Too many times what a business owner does is they do random acts of marketing and random acts of business because they start at the first step. Hey, I got to go do something. When truthfully, we need to start at the last step. What are we trying to build so that we can reverse engineer how to achieve the objective?
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I think that is so important, that once we know where we're going, because we want to know where we're going, then we can see where we're at and figure out what are those steps to get from that point where we're at to where we want to be. But if we don't know where we want to be, you're absolutely right. It's just random acts that you hope stick and work.
Right.
And it can be much more effective.
That's how we go completely off, that's how you end up completely off course.
Exactly. No, I think that's really, really beautiful and important for us to be aware of. So also, let's say, okay, we're doing the strategy. We know where we're going. We understand the gap, where we're at, where we're going. We've got a plan that's putting us on track. How do we then take things even to another level? We hear this term a lot in the business world or in the entrepreneurial world. You need to scale your business. It's time to scale your business. What does that mean? And why is that important? And how do we maybe start doing that?
So to me, scaling, I use a different word. Like the way you scale your business is you move from launching into leveraging. And the reason so many business owners and entrepreneurs have a challenge with this is because this is the part of business where you move away from doing what the business does for their clients and into being a business owner. And most business owners went into business because they're good at doing the thing the business does, not necessarily because they're great at being a business owner. So the only way to scale your business is to learn how to leverage your assets, your time, your team, your marketing, your money. You have to move away from if I do A, I get B, and into if I do A, I get B, C, D, E, F, and G.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that shift in perspective and that different way of looking at scaling, really looking at that word leveraging to help the business go to those next levels and do all that it can be. So if I were to put a circle around all that we've talked about today and really opening up when we're looking at building a successful life, a successful business, looking at that. And you've talked beautifully about some things that can be done personally, professionally, and business-wise. What's a piece of advice or a final tip you would give us around building a successful life? Because business, if we are in business, is part of that. What are your thoughts around what a successful life is, and how can we move into that for ourselves?
So to me, it's a process. And I think that's something that I had to learn was there's no fixing it. Your mindset doesn't need to be fixed. Your calendar doesn't need to be fixed. Your business doesn't need to be fixed. And I say that because when we use those terms, we think that one day we're done. That if we think we need to fix it, then one day there's this miraculous state where everything's perfect. And that's not how it works. Everything is an ongoing process. And so my process, it's 3 steps, is very easy. Be in charge, take action, get results. Be in charge means make the decisions. Take action means do the things. And get the results means analyze what happened. It's not get the results you want. It's get some results. And all that does is lets you go back to step 1 and make a better decision. And if you just keep doing this over and over and over, your process, right? It's the process for the unlimited potential instead of trying to tell yourself that you're wrong or bad or not doing it right. And somewhere out there is this miraculous perfection version of yes, because that's not really how it works.
Beautiful. I love the 3 steps, and they take you back to the other. So it's an ongoing process and journey. Beautiful.
Yes.
Exactly. Well, Erin, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing. We're going to have you back towards the end of the show where you'll share all your contact information. So listeners, make a note that if you want more of Erin, we're going to let you know how, and you want to be listening for that, and maybe put down some questions, thoughts that you'd love to be able to connect with her about or dig in a little bit more deeply. So know that that's coming as we go to this next commercial break. These 2 minutes are carved out lovingly for you, an opportunity for you to pause, be present, integrate, write down, take in that which it will serve you. Those concepts that Erin shared that are impactful, that are perhaps pinging you in some way, those are great things to pay attention to write down and capture. And the beautiful thing about writing is it connects your hand and your heart. It actually starts to bring things into reality on a cellular level. So we're not just creating a to-do list, someday list. You're actually real time integrating. So use these 2 minutes to integrate, enjoy, stay present, and we'll continue our conversation in just a moment.
A little birdie told me Voice America is on Twitter. Follow us at Voice America TRN.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Voice America programs are now available on your favorite connected device, including Amazon, Alexa, and Google Home. Through streams with Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, listening to your favorite show is as easy as saying the show name followed by the word podcast.
Hey, Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast.
If that doesn't work, try adding on TuneIn or on iHeartRadio or on Apple Podcasts.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. That's EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and wrote down some great things you want to connect with Erin about, and we will make sure to let you know how to do that towards the end of the show. And then secondly, I wanted to share something on my heart that kind of bubbled up. We have different tools and resources available out there to support those who are really looking to bring their message forward and reach more people. One of the common questions and outreaches I get almost every week, sometimes several times a week, is, Rebecca, I want to be a guest on your show. How do I do that? How do I get some of that visibility and exposure? I'd really like to support your listeners. So here's the way to do that. You go to speakertalentsearch.com, speakertalentsearch.com. This is part of our give back, and it's how we meet amazing guests and talent that we're able to bring to the show. So I encourage you to check that out. There is a deadline coming up of June 30th. This is going to be the last one of the year. So if that's on your bucket list, if that's something you've been wanting to do to get on some more shows, not only does it give you an opportunity to potentially be a guest on ours, but on multiple other shows and platforms as well. So I encourage you, lean in, check that out, really honor that. If that was one of the things that popped up that you want more visibility, you want to reach more people, here's one of those things, as Erin says, that you can do to an action you can take to help support you in doing that. So I hope that's something that serves you, speakertalentsearch.com. And I'm excited to introduce our next guest. I know you're going to love his energy, his positivity, his spirit, and wisdom. I'm very excited to introduce him to you, Peter Nicholls. He has been a life enjoyment mentor for over 20 years, helping people enjoy being their true selves. Prior to that, he was a leader in the Australian recreation profession as a recreation planner. He's helping people improve the quality of their recreational pursuits through that role, and has a graduate degree in recreation planning and a Bachelor of Arts degree as well. He is absolutely passionate about helping you be your true self. Please lean in. Warmly welcome the powerful, joyful, and empowering Peter Nicholls to the show. Welcome.
Well, thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here, and I'm enjoying myself very much already.
I'm so glad. We want to be in alignment with that enjoyment part. So I'm glad that you are. It's beautiful. And you are calling in, joining us from Australia. We're here in the States. So for me, it's around 10:40 in the morning Pacific time. I'm so curious, Peter, what time is it for you there?
It's 3:00 in the morning here.
See, that is true commitment, and you're joyful and enjoying at that time of the morning. I love it.
I've been looking forward to this for a while now. I wasn't going to let the time of night or day to bother me, and it hasn't.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you for being willing and able to do that and to show up powerfully on our show. I really appreciate that and the energy that you're bringing to us at that time of morning for you. It's so beautiful. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about why is this work of helping people, and I put work in my notes here, I kind of put it in quotes because I know for you it doesn't necessarily feel like work because you enjoy helping people in this way so much, but why is it so important to you?
Look, I think that there's two sides to the word enjoyment. One is it's very much a word for empowerment and very appropriate to what you're doing, because it's only when you really are you really empowered when you're enjoying what you do, because enjoyment is very unique to each of us. Only each of us can say what we enjoy. No one can tell us what we enjoy. And I think the other side of it is that when it gets into the public realm, so often we are told enjoyment is something you put to one side while you get on with the serious business of work and life and making money. And so I have had to battle for very many years, both in my recreation planning days and in my enjoyment mentoring days, to work to convince people that really it's when you enjoy yourself that actually the real successes come in life, and I think the person who can particularly is a person who works for themselves knows this, but so many of us have not been engaged in our work, but we get engaged in our weekend very easily.
I think that's so interesting that we can really be engaged in so many parts of our life. And I love your perspective on enjoyment being empowerment, that those are so tied together that we can really step into that quote unquote work way of being in our life so differently. How does this tie into success, or how would you define success and help people lean into that by bringing enjoyment into their life?
Well, my definition of success is where you actually manage to develop your unique talents and gifts and achieve a potential only available to you. When so much of our work is about doing what other people expect us to do, that we should do. But real success in life is not how much money you make. It's how you feel about achieving the life that you wanted to achieve. And that comes through naturally expressing your talents or your gifts, your passionate interests in such a way that you're moving towards becoming the person you were born to be. I use a very simple analogy for this. My background was in parks and recreation, and if you take any plants, say take a tree for example, a tree does not stop growing. A tree does what it was born to do, what its identity is. An acorn becomes an oak. Now, many of us try to become fruit trees rather than oaks. We were born to be our own version of an oak, but then we're told, no, you'll never make money being an oak. You've got to become a fruit tree or a macadamia bush or something else. And so we get sidetracked into worlds that we never really wanted to be in. And only the fortunate ones who manage to get passionate about what they love doing and make a business out of it, I think really comprehend what I'm talking about, and others have to really rethink about that. So it's a matter of looking at what you enjoy when you're not at work, and not what you enjoy, but why. What does it bring out of you? What talents does it develop? They become your, what I call your transferable skills into your life.
I love this. And I know that I have heard you share that when you lose yourself in so going back to that, what you enjoy, you find yourself. Can you expand? Because to me, it sounds so much in alignment with what you're sharing. Can you expand on that and share why that is and what we can do with that information we start to discover?
Very simple way of doing that, Rebecca. If you think about what you enjoy doing just because, say you like painting, just as, a simple example of that's something you might really enjoy, or walking in nature or whatever you enjoy. That's when the real you comes alive. You feel 5 different things happen when you really enjoy yourself, say out in nature. You're thinking and your mind is working with purpose. It's working with a sense of wanting to know what's out there, of challenge, of looking to see questioning what they can find out. Then there's the second one is a sense of self-esteem. You're feeling good about yourself. The third one is you're energized, and that sense of energy. And the fourth one is you usually learn something. The experience enriches your life by a little bit or by a lot, depending on what the experience was. And the fifth one I really like, you infect everyone around you. Now, these things happen when you lose yourself in an interest you love, you find your true self. And if you're only finding that when you go for a walk in nature, you're missing out on a lot of what that potential has for the whole of your life, not just enjoying a weekend.
Thank you for sharing that. And as we start to discover what those things are that we're losing ourselves in, that are in a great way, that we're just energized by and getting caught up in, how can we start to bring more of that into our life, so it's not just a weekend thing or not just something we're doing an hour a week, but how do we really start to integrate that into our life?
It's very much found within yourself, about searching back over your life to date, about finding the dots that join what all the experiences, the types of experiences you enjoy. Have a look back, and particularly a good time of life is around about the 15 years adolescent age, which for most of us has been perhaps the richest thought, when you say, what I really want to be in life is this, that, or the other thing. And then so often parents or teachers or others who want you to get the most out of life say, look, that's a lot of fun, but you will never make money out of that. So think about what it is that you have really enjoyed back in your life, what sort of experiences, but why did you enjoy them? What sort of talents, what sort of skills? I give you, and it's not when I say talent, you don't have to be the world champion at it. Simply, for instance, I'm told I'm very good at listening. I have a skill. There are those who have very good hand-eye coordination. There are those who can solve complex problems. I have a granddaughter who was brilliant at jigsaw puzzles, and now she's a very successful executive assistant. And I spoke to her about it recently. She said, yes, I've learned how to solve complex problems, and I put it back to a lot of what I learned out of that. So every one of us can actually look back at key experiences, and they become the driver of starting to understand who we really are, and then starting to move forward. And perhaps we might talk a bit more about that a little later on.
Sure. Well, and I love that seeing what some of the, why you like it, some of those skills and talents, and how are those transferable, can be brought forward a little bit more. I love that we can learn and discover those things. One question I also have about what you were sharing earlier was that favorite part that you had about how we become infectious and what we affect others and what we lose ourselves in, what we're skilled in, what we are passionate about and enjoy. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that, the impact on others?
I think it's because when you're enjoying yourself, you have to be positive. You cannot possibly be negative while you're enjoying yourself. And when you're like that, people who are around you get infected by your sense of enjoyment. Even if it's only in the moment, they start to realise this person, what's the old expression? I'll have what he's having or she's having. I love this sense of enjoyment. Now, in the workplace, if you get people enjoying what they do in their workplace, you infect everyone else in the workplace, and you get this two-way connection grows between people, a sense of affinity between like-minded people, and a sense of wanting to work and grow together, because we've both started to realise that this enjoyment thing is so much more than just having fun. This is where we actually work more productively and more effectively, and we get to enjoy being with each other and working together in a collaborative manner.
Well, and doesn't that sound beautiful? I know I would very much, and I am very much drawn to people that love what they do. There's a passion for it. There's this positive energy, and you're uplifted by it. And it's contagious. It's something, and it gives energy and creates energy versus draining and something that takes away. So I really love that is something that we can do and affect each other in a great way by loving what we do and really bringing that to more and more of the things that we're doing and creating in the world. Now, our time is going so quickly, Peter. I love all that you're sharing. So do you have a final tip or suggestion that you want to, or something on your heart you want to let our listeners know?
Yes, if you're looking for purpose in your life, purpose will find you before you find purpose. But the way you achieve it is you've got to be in a search mode. You've got to be out there looking to see what doors are opening, what opportunities are out there. Would I be any good at that? And eventually, if you follow that sort of thinking, you're going to find that purpose will reach you. And I've found that happened about 3 times in my life. So I'm personally in favour of that approach. Be out there searching and looking for who you really are. It'll come to you.
Wonderful. Oh, thank you so much, Peter. I really appreciate your sharing. We are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. As we do that, listeners, I encourage you to take a moment and write down some thoughts, things you'd like to connect with Peter about on a deeper level, something that maybe is bubbling up, and put maybe a note of reminding yourself to be out there looking for a purpose, looking for those things that you love and enjoy and can bring forward in your life. And we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Voice America is on your favorite smart speaker. If you have Alexa or Google Home, go ahead and give us a try.
Hey Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast on TuneIn.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
You need to live up to your full potential. You've heard that for years, but now there's a channel to help you get there. Introducing the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Our listeners have told us that they want to be motivated, hear about success stories, and positive encouragement around the clock. And we've responded to you. The Voice America Empowerment Channel is the home of the world's top life coaches, entrepreneurs, and success experts. Listen to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's here at voiceamericaempowerment.com.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes. It's been such an honor to have each of you connect in today with us. I hope you have a page full of notes and things that have bubbled up and supported you. I hope you have found encouragement and some new perspectives on how we can bring enjoyment into our life, how we can step more fully into purpose and success and all those things that matter to us. I want to also encourage you to reach out to our guests. In a moment, we're going to have them share their contact information with you. And please know this isn't just for drill. It really is to support you. I want you to be able to connect with those that you feel in alignment with, that you want to go deeper with, so that you can get support on the journey. Because here's what I've discovered. There's a myth out there. Somewhere along the way, we have started to believe or been told that we've got to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, that it's a solo journey. We've got to do it all on our own. And it's just not true. I want to bust that myth. We can lean in to support, and we can get encouragement on our journey. We can gain wisdom. We don't have to learn everything ourselves on the hard way. We can actually learn from others and be supported on our journey. So I hope you hear that heart and that spirit from us, from our guests today, and know that if you feel that resonance, that pull, please lean into connecting with them and going deeper. It's just been an honor to be here with all of you, and we're going to go around the room for that contact information and any final parting wisdom that they can share with us to carry back into the day. So with that, Erin, I'd love for you to start. What's the best way for us to connect and go deeper?
Awesome. We make it really, really easy. Everything you need is in one place. It's at conqueryourbusiness.com. Just go to conqueryourbusiness.com. You can find me, all my socials, my podcast, all of everything we have for folks is all in one place.
Perfect. I love it. And then do you have a final parting thought or word you want to give us, or inspiration as we get ready to go back into the day?
Yeah, I love that you brought up this idea of scaling your business and talking about leveraging. I recently created a business growth profiler so you can take an assessment of your own business and see where you are in launch mode, where you are in leverage mode, and where you might even be moving into leading mode. So you can grab that and do an assessment on your own business and see what you need to do next.
Oh, I love that. How beautiful. You're giving us support in figuring out where we are and where we want to go. Exactly. Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you being on the show today. Thank you for the generous gift and wisdom. And listeners, I encourage you to lean into connecting with Erin. I appreciate that. Well,
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. You're very, very welcome. So with that, Peter, would you share the best way for people to connect and go deeper?
Thanks. Yes, Rebecca. The best way is to my website, which has a very strange name, but it's www.australiaspeoplegardener.com.au. Growing better people. People gardener. Now, on that site is a whole library of information which will suit almost every taste in terms of what enjoyment can mean in your life. If they go to the product section, there's a number of free downloads which I think people would get a great deal of benefit out of. So I would recommend Australia's People Gardener, Gardener, and that's all one word, .com.au.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Peter. I appreciate that. And I love that you have so many resources available to help everyone, and they can download those that really call to them to support them on their journey. So thank you for joining us and making that available. And then did you have a final piece of advice, wisdom, or tip that you wanted to share with our listeners today?
Your whole purpose in life is through enjoying being your true self. And if you find things that give you enjoyment, that trigger your passion, your connection with other people, your talents and gifts, that's the path to find the real you that is going to have the most successful life. Not whether it's financial or not is another part, but you will live a successful life when you follow what you enjoy being and enjoy being your true self.
I love that. I have a smile on my face that we can bring those things together, and by truly being who we are can bring joy and success into our life. I love that, and having the courage to follow and bring it forward, and the creativity. Thank you, Peter, very much for joining us today. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you, Rebecca.
You're very, very welcome. And listeners, we wouldn't have a show without you. So thank you for joining in, being part of our listening family. And we'd love to hear from you. So don't be shy. If you do have something you want to share with us, or questions, or things that you would love us to discuss and support you in, we'd be happy to do so. You can reach out to us at Rebecca at Your Purpose Driven Life. I'm sorry, Purpose Driven Practice. My goodness. Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com, and we'll be happy to support you and encourage you on your journey as well. We so appreciate each of you. I encourage you to take a couple moments at the end of the show for you. Take those 2 minutes, take a deep breath, and really bring forward, take the steps, be in action of who you truly are and want to be, and take mindful, purposeful actions as you step into the day. Remember, you're in charge, not the day. You get to choose those next steps. And the biggest gift that you can give the world is being more of you. So be willing to bloom where you're planted and shine. Have a great week, everyone, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter, next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel, with a replay on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Variety Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.